Hello everybody, it's Dr. V. Welcome back to my channel. I'm doing sort of behind the scenes, what's going on under the surface, whatever language you like to use for your counterpart, for the person that you're thinking of, whether you call them your twin flame, your soulmate, whatever label you like to use. You'll know if you've been listening to me for a while that I'm not a huge fan of labels. I think labels can be a little bit limiting. So a couple of things before I get started. The first thing is that there is a workshop in Denver on April 20th at Goddess Isis Books, and it's 4 hours, $88. Tickets are already selling, and I don't anticipate that. I anticipate that it'll sell it pretty quickly once the email blast goes out from the bookstore. So if you want to get in on that, I encourage you to head over to the description box below and get yourself registered. The next thing I wanted to say is that if you would like to join the Love Revolution Facebook community, the link is in the description box below as well. If you don't answer the questions, the required questions, your request will be denied. So just be mindful of that, okay? And I think that is it. I'm using, one thing. I'm not doing the Wednesday night live reading tonight. I got a little bit behind with my readings and just life in general, being traveling, and so I'm going to skip that this week, but I will be back next week with the Wednesday night live. And tomorrow I am Sherry from the NFGC Tarot are doing our collaboration video, so that should be posted tomorrow, so look out for that. And that's it. Okay, so reading starts at 1 minute 50 seconds. Let's go ahead and get started. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages that come through be in the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle around this space, setting my ego to the outside. May this message serve the person who's listening, the person for whom they're listening, the collective, and all of our evolution, ascension, development of wisdom, and so it is. So I'm using Sherry's deck, the NFGC tarot deck, which is amazing. I love it. And so we're going to just start off with really looking at what is the current energy of the person for whom you're listening. So we want to just find out what's going on behind the scenes. You may not be in communication. You may not have talked to them for a while. You may not be getting any information. So you're just curious, like, what is going on? So the current energy, Karmic justice, baby, woo. So this is saying that people who have maybe not handled things well, maybe your person treated you poorly or did some things that they shouldn't have done, maybe they were just out of alignment in how they were living, whatever that might mean. What this is saying is that karma is coming around. Now, karma is a neutral energy. Like, you hear people say all the time, like, karma is a bitch. Well, karma's only a bitch if you are. You know, if you're doing things that you shouldn't do, if you're doing things that you know are out of alignment and integrity, then you're going to receive that same thing, that same energy back. And so this is really interesting. So for the person that you're listening for, they really have done some things. They may have been shady in the past. They may have done some things that they weren't, were really, what I keep getting is just out of integrity, where they weren't honest, or they didn't handle things the way that they ought to have. And so right now they're getting their comeuppance. They're reaping what they've sown. And it's not a pleasant experience is what I'm getting. I'm really sensing this is challenging, this is difficult. These are energies that this person is really struggling with, because on the one hand, it's like they know that they did dirty stuff. They were not behaving right. But they also want to feel like a little bit victimized by the universe or by life or whatever. And so there's a lot of grappling that I'm getting internally for this person and what they're dealing with. So let's look at what it is that they're not telling you. Interesting. So we have the High Priest, I love this, and the Queen of No Fucks Given. So what this is all saying to me is just really that we have this energy of being in a space where people are, the High Priest is about really developing intuition and wisdom. It's also about being in alignment with your higher purpose. So what I feel like what they're not telling you is that there's this understanding, this awareness that even if they don't like it, even if it's not comfortable, because it's not, you know, let's just be clear, it's not comfortable to have to deal with this stuff. It's not comfortable to have to face your karma and resolve karmic debt and do and deal with the stuff that you've, you know, put out in the universe. Like, none of that is fun. But what they are understanding, like what they're not telling you, maybe even what they're not quite yet understanding, but what's not, what's there is that there's this understanding that this is part of what has to happen. This is part of what needs to go down in order for things to transform, for things to evolve. And so what they're also not telling you is with this Queen of No Fucks Given, this would be the Queen of Wands in the traditional tarot. And so this is really an energy of confidence, power, really feeling connected with your higher wisdom. Really what I'm seeing is that they're seeing you in this light. The person for whom you're listening is really seeing you in this light, where they're like, you know, I feel like you have. So the message that's coming through is that they're saying basically like, I am watching you, I've seen you, even if they're not watching you physically, they can feel your energy. I feel like a lot of them are actually looking. They may be checking out your social media. They may be, you know, peeking in every now and then to see what's going on. And if you're doing your work and you're doing your, you know, putting forth your effort, they're actually seeing it, and they're seeing they're sensing it, and they're kind of watching you shine, and they're watching you be like confident, and that you're not in the space where you're like obsessed about them, or you're not worried about them. You're just kind of doing you, and life is working out. So they're watching that, and they're kind of feeling this pull, and feeling it's a very magnetic energy that I'm getting, is that they're feeling this pull because they feel like your energy and your excitement. This High Priestess, which is the Hierophant in the traditional tarot, is about tradition and rules, and this is things like traditional marriages and doing what society expects of you, and kind of being bound by those expectations. And then here's you know, that I really get this very clearly, like here they are kind of stuck in convention and trapped in what they're expected to do, and they're over here watching you kind of live your life like a totally free soul. And they're feeling like this pull, and also an energy, I'm getting an energy of like an envious type of energy, like they kind of wish that they could do that too. So very interesting reading so far. So I want to look at what it is that they are ashamed of, because there is something that they're ashamed of that they're, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. So we've got calmer waters and the rock star. We've got mirrored sixes here too. So part of what they're ashamed of, and I really get very clear, is that they felt the calmer waters would be like the Six of Swords. This is that liminal space where you're in between, where you're not who you used to be, not who you're becoming. You're just kind of in between. It's that being on a road trip. This is like a spiritual road trip where you've left one destination and you're kind of in between. You're like in, you know, Utah. I don't know. I'm thinking of like when I lived in California for a while, for a few years. I stopped and slept in Utah, so that's funny. That it was like, I'm not in Colorado anymore. I'm not in California. I'm just stuck here in Utah, and that's where they are, like a spiritual Utah. They're in this space of. I'm sorry, I cracked myself up. They're not who they used to be. They're not who they're meant to be. They're just in between. And part of what they're ashamed of is, I really feel like they, again, this energy of kind of seeing you, that you went, you know, this happened, shit went down, and instead of taking the long route, you kind of just zoomed. You decided to fly instead of drive and take the road trip. And so you're soaring. You're over here in this rock star energy, like you've overcome this adversity. They're watching you live your best life. They're watching you do all this exciting stuff, and they're sitting here like stuck, unable to move forward, kind of not really even necessarily stuck, just very slow movement forward. And they want this energy of the rock star. They want to be able to say that they overcame the difficulties, that they were able to rise above, and they're not feeling it right now. They're just not feeling like they have gone as far or had as much progress as you have. And so they might be feeling a little bit of envy, some resentment perhaps. and just lower level like jealousy. What does this person have that I don't? And part of that is really that I feel like the person who's listening is more tapped in spiritually, and that's what's helping. So they are moving toward calmer waters. It's just taking them forever. So I want to look at what's going on in their shadow energy, and I'm going to pull a card from the Oracle of Shadows and Light by Lucy Cavendish, and then if we need to get clarifiers, we'll do that. There's nothing wrong with Utah, by the way, just to clarify. It's not. It's a beautiful state. It's just that when you want to be in California, Utah is kind of like that, dead zone. Okay, so what's going on in their shadow right now? I'm going to pull two cards. The Fairy of the Green World and Lady with the Bosch Egg. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So the first thing says the natural world needs you. What's going on in their shadow is literally that they're needed in this 3D reality, in this human experience. It's like Spirit is saying, Spirit needs you to, it's in a 44, by the way, which is, a synchronistic number. But it's like Spirit really is saying, we kind of need you to get your shit together, because we really need you to do what you're meant to do on this earth. Like, you have to do, we need your energy and your life force. We need all hands on deck in this spiritual evolution process right now. And this person is not grounded. Okay, so in their shadow, they're not grounded in the earth. They're kind of like, I'm all those, what are they called? They're those little like tube people that you see outside of like car dealerships, where they're like tall little like floppy things, and they have like an air generator that blows air into them, and they just kind of flop and bend and go with whatever. It's like that's how this person's energy is. They're not solid, they're not grounded, they're not really connected to the earth. They're just kind of blowing whichever way the wind is going, and it takes them and whatever. And this is like their influence, them stepping into their power on this 3D human reality is necessary. It's like the Spirit is saying, we need you to do this, and it's like they know it, but they're kind of keeping it shoved in their shadow space, because in order to do that, they're going to have to make changes. They're going to have to do things differently and make different path choices, choose different ways of showing up in the world. And right now, it's like the influence that they want to have. I have this sense that there's people that this reading is resonating with, that they really want to have a greater influence. They really want to have more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, influence. They want to have more of an impact in the world, and in order to do that, they need to get grounded in the world. None of this like flopping about and not having their energy under control. That's what's going on, and that's why it's in their shadow energy. They need to get like grounded and cleansed spiritually and make the decisions that are going to help move them forward. And here's the thing. They have ancient wisdom that is available to them. The Lady with the Bosch Egg is about ancestral wisdom. It's about being able to tap into the collective unconscious, as Jung would call it, being able to recognize that this is not something that they have to, whatever they're thinking of is not something that they have to build from scratch. It's that really getting into tapping into their ancient wisdom, their cellular wisdom, their DNA, that they may not even realize that they have. They may be kind of blocking that out, is what I'm getting, is that this person may be somebody who really is very intuitive and who has their own spiritual giftings, but because they are not open to that, or they haven't been open to that in the past, they're blocking this out. And this is saying, this person has wisdom accessible to them. They can tap into their, literally doing things like altar work and ancestral altar work. If you don't do that, it might be something that you include in your practice as well, which is like having an altar to your ancestors, and that you literally making offerings, like bringing coffee or fruit or favorite foods, or monetary gifts that you put on the altar, things like that. And I feel like this is what this person is not doing, is not tapping into that, not looking at what did my ancestors know and how did they live and what did they do that was different and that would shift my reality. And so that's really something that and it's in their shadow. It's like there's so much wisdom and power available to them if they would just get out of their own way and allow themselves to access it. So let's move this aside and look at, what do we want to look at? I'm trying to think of what deck I want to use. I want to look at their intention. Okay, I love this. So we have Follow Your Heart and Mother Earth. So this is, I mean, I love this because it's like, it looks like, what's her name? You know, Wizard of Oz girl. Why am I drawing a blank? Anyway, the following your heart, follow the yellow brick road. This is what it's like, what their intention is to get into a space where they can follow their heart, where they can pursue the things that really bring them to life, that bring them happiness and joy. That's something that really feels important to them right now. This is also about releasing any type of illusions, any type of fantasies, any type of things that aren't really based in reality, but that are based in fantasy and idealization. Okay, so this is someone who is kind of needing to get really grounded in what's real, not what they hope for. So a lot of times people will make decisions based on what they hope will happen. So like they'll get into a relationship hoping that someone will change, or they'll still stay in a relationship hoping that things will get better. And oftentimes that is based on fantasy and illusion, and it's like what you want to have happen isn't what necessarily is happening or what is going to happen. And what I'm seeing here is that this person is getting into a space, their intention is to really work and to get into this energy of being able to follow their heart instead of following societal expectations and so on and so forth, getting real about things. And part of that is tapping into this Mother Earth energy, which is the Queen of Pentacles, which is this really powerful energy of being really grounded and rooted in the material world. Okay, this is like being getting out of this fantasy, getting down to earth, building independence, like financial independence, spiritual, emotional, material independence, acting with integrity, doing what is the right thing to do, really creating a sense of power and security and wisdom, and building a safe, secure, warm environment, not only for themselves, but for the people and the energies that they really want, the energy that they really want to have in their life. And so their intention is to really create that experience in the world right now. That's really what they're hoping to do. So what is their secret desire? And I'm pulling another card from the Oracle of Shadows of Light because it just spoke to me. Whoop. And a bunch of cards fell out. So give me 1 second. What is their secret desire? This is the thing that they may not even be acknowledging to themselves. This is maybe what they're not quite even telling you, is that they're, what's going on in secret places. I love it. Mildew Fairy. It says cleanup time. So their secret desire is literally what we were just talking about, this cleaning up their energies, cleaning up their lives, cleaning up their mental space, getting clarified and with their integrity and all of those things. And this is really what I'm seeing here very clearly, is that they really want to get their shit together. Okay, they really want to get it together and feel like they are living a life of honor and integrity, and they realize that in order to do that, they're going to have to clean things up. They have lived a life thus far where it has been an energy of sweeping things under the rug. Okay, so like what I'm seeing is literally somebody who is like, there's all this dirt and trash and whatever, and they just sweep it under the rug and they kind of hide it there and they bury it. And so on the surface, if you walk into the room, you're like, it might be okay, right? But the minute you lift the rug or you spend a little bit of time there, you start to notice the accumulation of dirt and trash and uncleanliness. And what they're starting to realize is that they can't live a life any longer where they just sweep things under the rug, where they don't actually get in there and scrub things and clean things and do things. And I'm saying like literally and metaphorically, that this is a person who whose environment may reflect their external environment reflects their internal environment. So if your counterpart is somebody who is like, you would consider like a very messy person, somebody who is almost like dirty, like if you ever visited their house and let's say they had like shit piled up everywhere and there was papers everywhere and their room was messy and their bathroom was dirty and their office was unclean and or unorganized, that is a reflection of what's going on internally. People who are clean and have, take care of their environment and their body, those are people who are really probably taking care of themselves spiritually. It's not always, I said probably because it's not always, and there are no absolutes, but there are definitely some of you who are listening. I'm picking up on the energy where your person was like super, super messy, not clean, out of alignment, and they're realizing, they're kind of looking around their life right now and they're like, my office is a mess, my house is a mess, my life is a mess, and it's time to clean up. It's time to get my shit together. And that's really their secret desire, is to clear that up and get into a different place. So what is it that they want you to know? And this is the Twin Flame and Soulmate Oracle by Karen Jacobowski. So what is it that they want you to know? So we've got playful. If you can hear my kiddos in the background, it's spring break, and so they're like playing video games with friends and stuff. So just enjoy the magic of little kid giggles. So we've got playful, reach out, and nurture. I love that. The Queen of Pentacles that came up earlier, the Mother Earth, I think it is about nurturing as well. So what they want you to know is that they really are, there is a desire for them to reach out. If you've had dreams lately, if you've been feeling like you've been getting intuitive messages or you've been having dreams or things like that, just be aware that really is there is a real strong possibility that a lot of your counterparts are reaching out to you, either physically. I know a handful of people that I've talked to recently and I've worked with, gotten messages from, that they have actually received contact from their counterpart. And so there is a lot of reaching out and communication. If it's not happening in the physical, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to messages and songs and things that are popping up, because there's a very real possibility that they are reaching out. They also are in this space that they want you to know that your playful energy is really magnetic, okay? I really keep getting that a lot. So if you're out living your life and having fun and you're doing things and like let's say they're watching you on social media, or they peek on your social media every now and then, and they're watching you live this playful life where you're like just, rocking it out, feeling excited, feeling powerful, feeling all this potential. That really is magnetic, okay? If you're in a space constantly where you're feeling down or despondent or depressed, that kind of is a little bit repellent to people. And then what they want you to know, what they're saying to you here is really like that you're really in this playful energy is really magnetic, okay? So keep playing, have fun, and continue to nurture yourself, your life, your dreams, all of those things, because it really is useful, it's beneficial, it's something that is helping you grow, which is of course amazing, but it's also helping them to grow as they see you become more and more self-empowered and magnetic and self-possessed, that they're nurturing yourself and nurturing your dreams. It is actually helping them to see that it's possible to live a life of fulfillment without all of the bullshit that they've been dealing with before. So let's move this aside. I was going to use the Lover's Oracle, but I feel really led to use the Talk to Me Like I'm Someone You Love deck. So let me use that one. And this is basically a message from them. Okay, so I'm going to pull a few cards from this deck, get some messages from them. So the first message that they want you to know, what they want to say, I feel like a total and complete idiot. I'm afraid to be real with you. And I'm feeling very scared of you right now. So here's what's beautiful. I love, the messages are just gorgeous here. It's like, I feel like a total and complete idiot. They're starting to have this energy of recognizing, remember the karmic justice card that came up earlier, right? They're starting to recognize that what they're reaping what they sowed, and they feel kind of like a big dummy. You might even have warned them. You might even have said, you know, this isn't going to end well for you. This is not going to be a good situation. And they were like, you know, whatever, and did their own thing. And now they're kind of in a space where they're reaping exactly what they sowed and what you might have even told them. I know that a lot of people say, like, I told my counterpart that this was going to happen if they did this, and it did, and now they're like, you know, so they feel like an idiot. They feel very sheepish that what happened. They're afraid to be real with you because two things are coming through. It isn't really about you. It's more about their own fear of vulnerability. Like the Achilles card came up yesterday. And so there is this energy of feeling like I'm afraid to be vulnerable. I'm afraid that if I'm real with you, if I strip back all of my defenses and I show you who I really am, that you're not going to love me. You know, there's that energy. And so they feel, because they feel like an idiot, they feel kind of like a fear of vulnerability. They're afraid to be real. And it's this card of I'm feeling very scared of you right now. Again, I get this energy that it's not necessarily about you. You might have had really strong boundaries if you were really boundaried and you set some strong limits, they might feel afraid about that you might cut them off or that you might reject them. But what I'm really getting is that they're afraid that I'm very scared of you right now, is that they're scared that if they were to reach out, like that card came out, that you might just be like, I'm not interested in this anymore, that you might reject them, that if they showed you who they really are, that there's no way that you would ever really want them. And that's the fear that they have. It's not necessarily real. It might be for some of you. It might be for some people. Not everybody is on the same spot on this path and on this journey. That you might be, you know, I've seen a lot of people that they're like, if my masculine or my feminine came back, I'd be like, F you, you had your chance. Well, that would definitely be why they would feel afraid of you. Not everybody's there. A lot of people are really open and would be welcoming to be friends or whatever the situation calls for. So you'll just have to determine, you know, how your energy is contributing to why they might be feeling afraid of you. So I am going to move these aside and pull one final card, which is a message from your higher self to you. So this is from the Sacred, Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. So this is basically like what Spirit wants you to know. Beautiful. Authority. The frequency of authority reminds us that true authority is powerful, directed, and realized, yet receptive, wise, and loving. That is amazing, because that really is, to me, a lot about the synchronicity and what it means to truly be balanced in your masculine and feminine, that you are aware of your power, that you stand in your authority, you speak your truth, you're not afraid to, you know, speak up and hold your ground as necessary. But you're also very gentle and kind and compassionate in that. So you can deliver truth to people that is a difficult truth to hear with kindness and compassion and with love. And that is what Spirit is saying for you to really focus on right now, is to be in that space of owning your authority and being in your power, while also being gentle and receptive and wise and loving. That is going to be the energy that's going to help shift things forward for you in major, major ways. So that's your reading. I hope it resonated. Please let me know if you have any questions. Take care. Bye.